This is the story of a house that held secrets, a family that fell apart, and a crime that shocked the nation. But it's also a story about the questions we are too afraid to ask. What happens when a child becomes a killer? And could any of us have seen it coming? This is the tragic tale of Ashley Smiley and her daughter Carly Gregg. A story that forces us to confront the darkest corners of mental illness, family dynamics, and the system that had failed them both. Ashley Smiley's life revolved about her family. A 34-year-old mother of two, she lived in a cozy Ohio suburb, the kind of place where neighbors wave hello, kids play until the streetlights flicker on, and life feels predictable, safe, and warm. Her daughter, Carly, was once a bright eyed girl who loved soccer and art. She was the kind of kid who would spend hours drawing in her sketchbook or kicking a ball around the backyard with her friends. But by the time Carly turned 14, something had changed. Something dark. Carly's journals reveal a storm of rage and isolation. At 12, she wrote, "No one listens. I'm invisible." By 14, her entries turned chilling. "I hate this house. I hate her." Ashley tried everything to reach her daughter: therapy, family outings, even late night heart to heart conversations. But Carly refused to open up. Teachers noticed her withdrawn behavior. Friends said she'd grown angry at everything. Ashley confided in a coworker, "I don't know how to reach her anymore. It's like she's a stranger." Meanwhile, Carly's stepfather, Mark, noticed something even more unsettling. He told police she'd stare at us like we weren't human. Tension in the household was there. Arguments became more frequent, and the once happy home felt like a pressure cooker ready to explode. But no one could have predicted what would happen next. On February 28, 2024, at 10:17 p.m., Carly crept into her mother's bedroom. Prosecutors would later reveal that she paused for 12 minutes. 12 agonizing minutes before pulling the trigger. Ashley instantly died. Mark, walking to the noise, was shot twice, but survived by playing dead. As Carly fled, she allegedly texted a friend, "It's done." Those two words marked the end of one life and the beginning of a nightmare for everyone left behind. The aftermath of that night was chaos. Police swarmed the neighborhood, and the Smiley home became a crime scene. Carly was arrested hours later, her face blank, her emotions unreadable. The community was in shock. How could this happen here, in their quiet suburb? How could a 14-year-old girl do something so unthinkable? Carly's trial became a national lightning rod. Prosecutors argued this wasn't a cry for help. It was calculated. They cited her Google searches. How to buy a gun anonymously. Does life insurance pay for murder? Her defense countered with a psychiatrist's testimony. Carly dissociates from reality. She believed her mother was a demon. The courtroom was divided. Was Carly a cold-blooded killer, or was she a victim of her own mind? In June 2024, the jury rejected the insanity defense. Carly showed no emotion as she was sentenced to life without parole, one of the youngest in Ohio history to receive it. The judge called it a failure of every system meant to protect children. Ashley's sister told reporters Carly killed her twice, once that night and again in court. The family was left shattered, grappling with a loss that defied explanation. Mark, Ashley's husband and Carly's stepfather, still bears physical and emotional scars. I wake up hearing that gunshot, he shared in a rare interview. Every single night. Ashley's gone, and Carly, I don't even know who she is anymore. Mark's life was changed, not just by the loss of his wife, but by the betrayal of a child he had helped raise. Carly's 10-year-old sibling now lives with relatives, their young life overshadowed by tragedy. The therapist noted nightmares of being next, a haunting reminder of the fear that lingers long after the crime. The innocence of childhood was stolen from them, replaced by questions they may never fully understand. Meanwhile, Carly sits in solitary confinement, deemed a risk to others. A guard's leaked report states she asks for crayons. Then she draws her mother's grave. These chilling details paint a picture of a girl lost in her own mind, a stark contrast to the bright-eyed child she once was. The for sale sign outside the Smiley home warns nothing of its past, but the community learned hard lesson. Local schools now screen students for mental health crisis, and Ohio lawmakers debate raising the gun purchase age to 21. Yet, as one neighbor admitted, we all missed the signs. How many more Carlys are out there? The tragedy forced the community to confront uncomfortable truths about mental health, gun access, and the pressures facing today's youth. Carly's story is not just about one family's tragedy. It's a mirror held up to society, reflecting the cracks in our system and the gaps in our understanding. When does discipline become neglect? Can a child be both victim and villain? And in a country where 1 in 5 teens lives with mental illnesses, are we listening, truly listening, before it's too late? This case raises more questions than it answers. Could early intervention have changed the outcome? Were there signs that were overlooked or misunderstood? And perhaps most importantly, how do we prevent this from happening again? These are the questions that haunt not just the Smiley family, but all of us who hear their story. Carly's story is a stark reminder of the complexities of mental illness, the fragility of family dynamics, and the consequences of systematic failures. It's a story that challenges us to look beyond the headlines and ask ourselves, how could we have done it differently? And what can we do now to ensure that no other family suffers this fate? If this case shook you, hit like and share your thoughts below. Should the law treat kids like adults in unthinkable crimes? Or are we failing them first? For more deep dives into true crime's gray area, subscribe and hit the bell. Stay curious, but never indifferent. See you next time.